It's the lady show. If you talk to her, she talks right back to you. Don't you, lady? You talk right back. Yes, she does. She's a smart kitty. She won't poop in the right place, but she's a smart kitty. It's Tuesday morning. How are you doing? Everything here is pretty good. This Daring Delight, the coconut and caramel flavored coffee, we're going to bam. We're gonna bam it. Bam. It's absolutely delicious. I really like it. I think we talked about this before, but I think that's supposed to be short round. It is not short round. That is tall, young individual. But I don't think that that's supposed to be short round. I mean, maybe it's supposed to, I don't know. It's a little all over the place. And then Willie had long hair, because this is obviously based off of Temple of Doom. I mean, you've got that. This right here tells me all I need to know. I mean, even Marion didn't have short hair like that. I don't know. I don't get the short hair. Willie definitely didn't have short hair. Oh well, what are you gonna do? You know what? It's an artistic representation, and that's fine. Medium. Hello. There's a button there. It makes it go. We're gonna blitz this up and smell it, because it's a wonderful coconut smell. It actually has a nice coconut buttery kind of smell to it. It's more or less the caramel, but it's just such a wonderful smell. Should I weigh this? Probably ought to weigh it. There we go. Okay. Yeah, so we'll move that to the side. We'll move this up here. For some reason, the water has started sizzling. Something must be cooking off. I mean, it's probably on the pot. It sat there long enough with cold water in it for it to condensate, I think, a little bit, I think. And there's Indy. Looky there. Bye, bud. Here, she'll sit there on that step for a little while. Funny kitties. All right. The 7:100 ratio. I think that should continue. 7 grams per 100. 4 times 7 is 28. So I mathed. It's a March miracle or something. That happened a little faster than I anticipated. Everything, very nice. Everything seems to have ground down fairly well. So I think we're okay. Interesting. So, as a lot of people know, or if you don't know, if you're just starting up and joining the channel, welcome. It's coffee therapy because I make coffee, and sometimes I talk about my feelings and how I'm doing and what's going on in the world and whatnot like that. So that's basically my therapy. Just putting that out there right now. If you've been watching me for any length amount of time, you know that I love RiffTrax. Now, RiffTrax is the three figureheads, the three voices, the three main voices of RiffTrax are Mike Nelson, Kevin Murphy, and Bill Corbett. They are former actors in a TV series called Mystery Science Theater 3000, or MST3K. Basically, during the sci-fi years, Bill Corbett played Crow. Kevin Murphy, for the entire length except for one season, played Tom Servo. And then Mike Nelson was in the sci-fi era of Mystery Science Theater as Mike Nelson, the guy that they were doing experiments on. The Mads, who are down in Deep 13, Frank Conniff and Trace Bellew, they have their own thing, which is The Mads Are Back. And then that switched to Mary Jo Pehl, and then Kevin Murphy as Bobo, and then Bill Corbett as Observer. Mary Jo played Dr. Forrester, Pearl Forrester, Clayton Forrester, which was Dr. Forrester in the originals, the original set of seasons, his mother. So that's the lineage. But RiffTrax It's them, and then Mary Jo, and then Bridget Nelson, who played Flavia in MST3K, and then a couple of other really funny roles. There's like a trailer park group in the Hex View, and she was really funny. Shut up, Chalet. I think that was Mary Jo. Anyway, I'm going off track. And then there's Eric, and then there's Sarah, and then there's Jason, and then there's David and David, and then there's just a slew of other wonderful people who every time I go, I get to meet a new person, and every time I see them, I get to meet a new person, and they're all just amazing, a small group of people doing a lot of good work in riffing. They're still riffing movies. Their Kickstarter started yesterday. They're already up to a wonderfully large amount. I'll link the Kickstarter below. They're no sponsors of this. They have nothing to do with me other than my pure enjoyment of watching them. They're like, say somebody gets season football tickets, and that's like their thing. They just go to season ticket football games like all year, and then that's the only big splurge that they do. RiffTrax is my big splurge every year, and has been for many. And it all started back when I was I working at the hospital switchboard? I think I was. And they did Starship Troopers, which is the first signed poster you see right there at the bottom of the stairs. Starship Troopers, August 15th. A long time ago. And how are we doing here? Oh, we're doing okay. I backed them. There were a couple different levels. There was a VIP level that was around $2,000, I think, at the time, which was really out of reach. And then there was a son of VIP that was around $1,500. That was son of VIP. So I saved up my money, and we got that son of VIP, and we traveled down to Nashville, and I met the guys for the first time, the guys and the staff of RiffTrax. I got to meet them for the first time, and I fell in love, with them. I love what they did anyway, but them as people, meeting all the people that were behind the scenes, they were fantastic, and it was my go-to. The following year, I did not get to do that because I couldn't save up enough money and enough time, which was unfortunate. But then the following year, and just about every year to about maybe 3 years ago, we did the VIP event. And went down to Nashville, and then I think we skipped a year because it was in Minneapolis for the MST3K reunion show, and that was a little too awkward, and we decided we didn't want to do that. So, but up until 3 years ago, that was what we did. We did the VIP event. And then it started getting just a little bit too pricey, even when I had a job. So we kind of pulled back a little bit, and there was this option called Write a Riff. This is all about the Kickstarter, by the way. I'm sorry. I guess I should have said that to start with. Their Kickstarter started yesterday. It will go for about 32 days. I guess it's at 31 days left now. And like I said, I'll link below. And again, I'll say I'm not affiliated with them whatsoever, other than, I give them money once a year so that they can keep doing what they're doing, because I believe in what they do, and I love what they do, and they bring joy to a lot of people, and that's what it's all about. But so I've decided to, again this year, I got very lucky. There was one Write a Riff left, and so I grabbed it up. So for the 4th year in a row, I think I will be writing a riff for the show. So one of my jokes will appear in the show, just like it has for the past 3 or 4 years. And I'm very excited about that because I've always wanted to be a writer. I've written things. I've written riffs. They're on my site here. I wrote a long one for From Russia with Love, the James Bond film starring Sean Connery. I wrote a long one for that, and that was an absolute joy, but that took about a year. because I had a job at the time. Now I don't have a job, but it's I need to get back to writing. I actually started two. One is a Godzilla versus Space Godzilla film that is on YouTube right now. I'm kind of writing for that one because it's so funny and fun. There's just so much going on. And then I dug up David Lynch's Dune back in 1984, I think it was. I'm kind of writing the riff for that because it is just full of 1980s goodness. And then, I don't know, there's just something about it that just grabs you. And it keeps my attention. Like From Russian with Love, for some reason, it's just weird and at times kind of sleazy and also at times absolutely hilarious and absolutely absurd. So it just holds my attention. So, and Dune, 1984 Dune, it does the exact same thing. Yeah, David Lynch's Dune, who I think he finished it and then disowned it. So, so I'm working on those two things. And that'll be fun. And I started doing that like a couple of, like almost 6 months ago, the Dune one. The other one has been sitting on the fire for about, I should be doing this on a scale, shouldn't I? We'll start a bloom phase, and then we'll go for the 400 in the scale wise, and that'll be all right. It smells so good. It smells good when it's heating up. Anyway, so this year, the VIPs, I would have loved to have been a VIP this year, but boy, that is just creeping up and up and up and up, and I don't like to say bad things. I don't like to complain. I don't like to, especially when it comes to things that I love and people that I love. But they went, which is good. People bought them, which is absolutely cool. And I'm very glad. And I hope that some new people get to go and experience what I got to experience for the first time so many years ago. 2014, 2013, something like that. And that's just meeting the entire RiffTrax staff, including the writers, Sean and Connor, and then, Eric, who does the web stuff and takes pictures, and then Sarah, who's the cattle herder, basically. She's the second cattle herder. Poor David Martin is like the cattle herder. When it comes to those two, he always looks like he's worrying about something until the very end of the night, when the show is over with. This year's going to be a little different. It's going to be a little bit more interesting because it's actually going to be live from Minnesota. So that should be interesting. They're recording it live, but they're playing it back in August. So they're recording it in July, but they're playing it back in August for Fathom events. So, and I assume the time that they wanted to do it wasn't going to gel with the truck company, because they hire a satellite company, and that satellite company may not have been available during the time that they want. I mean, it's going to be so close to that stupid election that's going to be coming up. This is a presidential election, and I think it's just going to be, it's going to be dumb, and people are going to be stupid, and it's just going to be a shit show. But barring that, it's going to be great. So they may not have had time, and maybe even during the time slot when they wanted to do it, maybe in August, they weren't available. So they probably just decided to do it in the hometown of Minnesota. Minneapolis? I think it's in Minneapolis. So last year we were able to attend through the graciousness of a person I can call my friend, Bill. It's really a wonderful feeling when you're just going along during your day and you open up your Instagram to look at cats or look at coffee, and there's a message from someone that you spent years watching on TV, and I don't want to say idolizing, but definitely just being, just excited to see whenever they come on the screen, or excited to hear whenever they're doing their puppeteering or their jokes or whatnot, that kind of a thing. And then, on RiffTrax, everybody there's funny. So I got a message from Bill Corbett, and he's like, "Hey, do you want tickets?" And I'm like, "Really? Why would you do that?" We really hadn't planned on going down to Nashville because, again, I did the writer riff, so we were going to watch it in the theater up here, and just be very content in that. But he said, "You should come down, and I'll get you tickets." And I'm like, "Holy cow!" And that's a thing. That's the thing that I used to do for folks. I don't know if, it's past the statute of limitations. It was in 2002. I don't know if I've relayed this story yet or not. I might have, but back in 2002, when I worked for the Blitz, we would do radio promotions, and we would work with the WWE, then WWF, I think. I forget when they got the F out. Maybe it had been around that time, but we would go to different places that did the pay-per-view live on the TV screen. Remember those days when you would go to a bar, and the only way you could a normal human being that didn't want to bother with cable and then paying a pay-per-view price could watch it would be go to BW3's or to a bar that had food that was airing the pay-per-view because they wanted to watch it too, that kind of a thing. And I remember this one bar we went to, they had to do a 2-drink minimum after our first 2 promotions there, because people were coming in 2 hours prior to the show and then sitting at a seat and then not getting up until after the pay-per-view was over, which I thought was kind of shit, but it's what am I going to do? I'm just the promotions assistant. It's up to the bar staff to do their job. I can't, it's kind of my fault, but then again, there's nothing I can really do about it. So it was our second to last promotion of the year for the WWE, and because they were coming to town. And we just so happened at that particular one, we had 2 sets of tickets to give away. And this wonderful mother and son who were always so kind and so sweet and, just so happy to be there, were put their names in the hopper again like they did every time, and they've never won. So we did one legitimate winner. Someone legitimately won the tickets. And then I found their piece of paper in the goldfish bowl and held it in my hand and pulled it out. And then I got them both a pair of tickets to go see the WWE. And you should have seen the look on that little boy's face. And his mother was just so happy. So, and that's why you do it. You do it because you want to make other people happy, and you want to make sure everybody is taken care of. And, Bill did that for me, and I was just so emotional and just overjoyed, and I'm the person that I care about, on the big screen, on the TV screen, on, when I'm listening to them on a podcast or something like that. He has reached out to me and he said, "Hey, I'm going to set you some tickets aside at Will Call if you want to come down." And I was just over the moon. It was absolutely insane. And I hope he doesn't mind me talking about this. It was just I didn't talk about it at the time. And I certainly do not expect it to happen again. I certainly do not. I don't, it's, what he did for me at that one point and it was a low point in my life because that's when I had lost my job. And I guess, and that's probably what made it extra special is that I had I had lost my job. I had still saved the money and committed it to writing the riff. It was something that I wanted to do. And then, he just probably saw that was happening and went ahead and did this wonderful thing for me. So I am forever grateful and to him and to everyone at RiffTrax for not only what they have done for me since the Mystery Science Theater days in college, but continue to do to this day. So, so I contribute to that Kickstarter. I unabashedly contribute to that Kickstarter anything I'm able to contribute at the time. So, and this time I was able to do the Writer Riff. And I'm very proud of that. And I can't wait to do it again. And, we've already looked at flights over to Minneapolis. They are not expensive. The both ways cost was very low. Hotel fees out there aren't awful. They're certainly not Nashville awful. It's really getting a hotel down there is, because it's Nashville. So, and it's an epicenter of culture and whatnot. So, and there's events going on down there all of the time. I remember several years ago, the Beyonce concert was going on down there. Ticket or prices for hotels were just astronomical. They were stupid. And very coconutty. Such a wonderful smell, such a great taste. If you like coconut and you like a caramel finish, this is definitely the coffee you should try. Oh, so good. So, long story short, the Kickstarter is going on right now, and I've backed them. And I backed them at the level that allows me to write a riff. And I was able to do that. And I'm very grateful to, everyone, my husband, for helping me do that. And, to RiffTrax, and I realize, of course there's the cynics. Yeah, I've heard the cynics already, before when I've talked about this. Of course you've paid the money. Of course they're going to, and to be quite honest and frank about the whole thing, I've paid them over $1,000, over $1,500, like consecutively, to be a VIP member, to go and see them, many times. I've at least paid enough to get all of the goodies that they kind of give out, because they have tiers, and then the top tier gets the majority of like all of the goodies under a certain tier. That's how Kickstarter works. And then the level where I do the Writer Riff grants you access to all of those goodies underneath that level. The VIP experience be the penultimate experience. There are some fun other little experiences. I don't know if they're gone. Bill will write you a limerick. Kevin will do a jingle for your channel, as long as it's ethical, which that's amazing. Having Kevin Murphy voice a jingle for you. Holy cow. I mean, wouldn't that be amazing if this coffee show started up and it was Kevin Murphy saying, "Welcome to Crazy Town." And then I think Mike does a drawing, and it's a very funny abstract drawing of Underpants Man, and it's very funny, and definitely something to have in your collection. So, and it's just the things. It's just the things that they've got as add-on bonuses. And then as the Kickstarter keeps going and they reach their goal and they go beyond their goal, they'll start doing stretch goals, which I always love the stretch goals, because the stretch goals are fun. And you're always a part of the stretch goals at the level that I tend to go at. So, it's absolutely fantastic. It's such a great Kickstarter, and it's been that way for quite a few years. And I've been very, very, very fortunate and privileged to be a part of it. Even though, yes, I know I am paying them money. So some recognition, in a cynic's mind, some recognition should be warranted. That's not how I work. I give them money because I enjoy them. I believe in them. It's an investment, and the returns are mental health, is joy, laughter, comedy, a variety of things that benefit me. So monetarily, it's it is worth the what I get back mentally and physically from them. So, and I do not expect anything in return for that, and I never have, and I never will. I am just grateful for the experience. There was one year I got to riff along with Bridget and Mary Jo, which I wish they would bring back because that was an absolute joy, and I would pay, you know, for 2 hours of their time, sitting down, getting a short like little riff school with them and their comedy, and to be able to pull that knowledge for them. I love Mary Jo and I love Bridget. Bridget's so fun and bubbly and funny, and their youngest son just had a child like last year, and that was absolutely fantastic. And you know, I root for them. I root for them like all the time. So all of them are absolutely wonderful people. So, and you know, if you feel like getting some goodies, contribute to the Kickstarter. Like I said, a link below. This won't be the last time I mention it in the next 32 days or 31 days or 30 days, however many days are left. You know, I may skip a day or two, but you know, I'll bring updates, especially when they do the stretch goals, because the stretch goals, like I said, are also very fun. Anyway, so that's my time. That's my time. No, it's not. I've got plenty of time, but this thing overheats. So, and I do have things I want to do today. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Visit the Kickstarter app, well, there's a Kickstarter app for your phone, but there's also a Kickstarter website that you can visit. I'll post the link below. And if you can contribute, great. If you can't, that's just fine. You are never, you know, obligated to do anything, really. That's so good coffee. Have a great day. Bye.